Hello, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday through the Institute of Excellence in Early Care and Education. My name's Emily Sardinha. I'm a life skills coach for the department, and I am so excited to be bringing this series to you along with my coworker Miriam, who will be providing these sessions in Spanish speaking for our Spanish speaking practitioners. We are so excited to bring this series to you where we're going to be talking about a new topic every month that we think is pertinent to you, that you may find useful, and also just some things going on in the world that we might think is good to talk about. So, this month, we're going to be talking about self-care summer. And of course, what does that mean? We hear the word self-care a lot and kind of think to ourselves, what exactly is self-care? What is included in that? And I think it's important to know, first of all, that self-care is just being able to take care of yourself to prevent you from burnout. We all are very busy and we all have a lot of responsibilities. And so it's easy to get caught up in those and lose sight of ourselves, not take care of ourselves, and then in turn become burnout. So it's really important to find self-care in the things that we do. And today we're going to be talking about some of those things that you can do during the summertime. Of course, these can go on to any season, but these kind of might be summer specific. So stay tuned and listen in to hear about what kind of things you can do this summer to help prevent burnout. So in early care and education, summer can be a time that is a little bit different for everybody, right? So it can either lead to things slowing down or it can lead to things getting really busy, the schedule's changing, it can be a little confusing, it can be hard to get in that kind of time for yourself, but it's really important too. So I'm just going to give you some tips today on what I think would work, especially in this field, because it can be really easy to get caught up in all the work that we need to be doing and lose sight of how to take care of ourselves. The first thing is that this summer, especially depending on where you're listening from, but in South Florida specifically, it is going to get extremely hot. Apparently, it's going to be record-breaking heat, and so it's really important to two things. Hydrate. Make sure that you are drinking your water. It can be really hard, and especially when we're really busy, we're running around, we're not remembering to drink water. It is so important that we remember to, even if we're just taking sips all day long, keeping a cup next to us, whatever it is, however you can make it so that you're drinking water. So important. It is going to be so hot, and even if you're inside in the air condition, it is still extremely important to stay hydrated. And I know depending on the center you're with, you might be taking field trips, you might be going places, you might be going out into that heat. Remember, drink your water. It's hard for me, especially when I get really busy. It's hard for me to remember to do that, but I know keeping a cup next to me and making sure that I sip on it every so often, super important. Really good for our bodies, and obviously we don't want to have any issues or complications from how hot it is outside. And then the second thing is wear your SPF. If you're anything like me, I burn in the sun, and so spending time outside without SPF, without sunscreen is just not a good idea. Making sure that you're reapplying it every so often, depending on what the brand of sunscreen you have. But even if it's just applying it in the morning and making sure you get that on is super important. These are the things that we can do to take care of ourselves. And, it might be kind of silly, like, well, how's that self-care drinking water and putting sunscreen on our face? But it is. It can be. It's considered self-care because what are we doing? We're taking care of ourselves. Those are two really, really big tips that I'm giving for the summer. If you don't remember anything else, try to remember that. I'm actually going to take a sip of water now. It is so hot outside. Just really important to make sure that you're drinking your water and putting your sunscreen on. Okay, another tip. Don't overdo it. If you feel like this summer you decided that you wanted to take up running, I think that's awesome. I think that's a really great idea, and I think that running is a great form of exercise, and it's even good for our mental health because it clears our head. However, it's really hot out. If you've never ran before and you're deciding you want to run and you're going to go outside into the heat, into the middle of the day and run, might not be the best idea starting out, or if you do, you might need to pace yourself. The key is to not overdo it. Sitting out in the sun can be good for us depending on how long it is. So again, just making sure that you're keeping in mind that you're not going to overdo it, especially when you're sitting outside, because it can be detrimental to us. And even if we have goals for ourselves, again, like running, or you want to garden, or whatever it is that you really want to get into, just make sure that you are starting at a safe place and that you're maintaining that safe place doing those hobbies, because obviously you don't want to, again, burn yourself out, or you don't want to hurt yourself doing it and then you just stop doing the hobby altogether. So that part is really important. Don't overdo it. Find something that you enjoy doing during the summer. It doesn't have to be really big, and it doesn't have to be going to the beach, because obviously that's like a really big one for people, especially if you live close to the beach. It doesn't have to be that. And it doesn't have to be going on nature walks either. If you don't really like being outside, that's okay. And you still want some exercise, try mall walking, or going to a store, even if it's Target, and just doing a few laps around Target and being in the air condition and getting in that exercise. It can be really helpful. Sitting in your backyard, or sitting outside on your front porch, or just in general getting some sunlight. Dr. Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscientist, he explained that if you go out into the sun before 10 a.m. and you walk for 10 minutes with no sunscreen, which I know is kind of contrasting to what I said before, but it's only 10 minutes. You go out in the sun, no sunscreen, no sunglasses, and you let the sunlight hit your skin and your eyes after you're awake. It triggers a neural circuit that controls the timing of your hormones, cortisol, and melatonin, which affects your sleep. So it doesn't matter really if you like to wake up early or not. If you can do it before 10 a.m., it basically restructures and rewires you on a daily basis so that your circadian rhythm is set. And when it's time to go to bed, you're on that schedule, you're tired, you're ready to sleep, and you're getting that good night's sleep. I've started this, and this is so true. It's been so helpful. Just doing that walk out in the sunlight with no sunglasses, with no sunscreen, and just getting that sunlight on my skin. It also is very helpful with vitamin D. If anything, if you want to incorporate something into your summer and you don't really have the time, that 10 minutes in the morning can be you time. You can put on some music in your ears. You can listen to an audiobook, but getting that 10 minutes can really be a moment for yourself to start your day really well. Make a fun playlist. Whether you have a radio station you really like, or you like to make your own playlists, I like to kind of customize them based on different things. Personally, I make a playlist each month, and I put the music I want to listen to for the month into it. So upcoming now, I'll have a June playlist, and I'll put some songs that I like, and I'll listen to it. Music is a great way to boost your mood. It's a great way to increase your energy and clear your mind. So, this one's a really big one, especially if you're into music. Finding some things that you like to listen to and giving yourself those minutes to listen just really helps with mental health and feeling good. And during the summer, a lot of fun songs come out. So if you are into that and you like even like pop music or different things that come out during the summer, that could be a really good option too, is making a fun playlist or finding a radio station you like. My next big tip is say yes and say no. It can be hard for us when we're really busy and we have a lot going on to be able to agree to going out, first of all. And it can also be hard for us to say no to plans when we so badly feel like we need to be going out. Find that balance. It is summer, but if you don't like going to the beach and you're being asked to go to the beach for a whole day, you can say no. There's nothing wrong with that. And practicing having boundaries like that, and practicing doing that with the people you love, can be really beneficial for both you and them, helpful to your relationship. Because, for example, let's say that your friends are asking you to go to the beach and you really just don't want to. I mean, how fun are you going to be there if you really don't want to be there? How's that going to affect them in their beach day? That's just an example, but being able to say yes and no to different things is really important and helpful, especially this summer. People like to do a lot of things during the summer. They like to travel, they like to make plans, they like to go try new foods, many different things. So whether or not you want to say yes or no to that, try to exercise that this summer, where you figure out, what you want to say yes and no to. And of course, on the other side of that, be open to trying new things. So if you have someone reaching out to you, asking you to try a new food this summer, maybe this would be the time. Maybe it's time to say yes and say, you know what, I am going to try. And you might find your new favorite food, or you might not. But being able to say that we tried things can be really helpful. And again, it's about finding that balance. So being able to know when to say yes or no, and when it is that you want to try something new, or when it is that you just want to stay home. Nothing wrong with that. Big, big, big one. Rest. Rest as much as you can. Like I said before, depending on where you work, it can be hard to actually be able to rest, but knowing when you have the time and being able to do that is so big. So back to going to saying no, maybe you're going to say no to plans, and instead you're going to stay inside and you're just going to take a nap, or you're going to lay on the couch and read, or you're going to watch a movie that you've been really wanting to watch. Those things are considered rest. It resets our body, and it keeps us from getting to that place of feeling burnt out, which is just, we really want to avoid that, of course, because when we work in a helping profession, we can only help as much as we help ourselves. So if we're not getting that rest and relaxation that we need, then it can lead to us being stressed out and burnout, and then we're not helpful anymore to those we're trying to help. It can be really hard to reframe the way we're thinking like that, but there's nothing wrong with resting, and especially when it's super hot outside, like I said, and it's summertime, and schedules are kind of all over the place, there's nothing wrong with taking that time for yourself and resting. You can even use it to find a hobby, like I mentioned before, or read a book that you've been meaning to read, or catch up on a TV show you've wanted to watch. Nothing wrong with that. Super important, and a really, really easy way to incorporate some self-care into your life. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope that some of the tips I provided were valuable, and we'll see you again next time for Wellness Wednesday. Bye.